Hi, Steve.
I think I'll have to go afternoons. Bit early this morning. Bloody dark.
We'll take that. We'll take afternoons.
You take afternoons, yeah.
For next week.
It's my way of getting back to that lot. Got to get them out of their beds.
Steve, can we start with your injury situation? Is there any update from that?
Yeah, I mean, Almiron and Shelvey have a chance. Still too early for St Maximin, and Key and Kieran Clark still struggling. So Matt Ritchie and Lascelles are not there either. So, but for what we had last week anyway, Almiron and Jonjo have got a chance.
So they trained yesterday. Will they do so again today?
They trained yesterday. So we speak at the moment. We haven't seen them just yet, but they both seemed okay yesterday.
Yeah, and given how different your side looked with both of those and also St Maximin in the side, are you tempted to take a risk?
Yeah, I mean, look, I wouldn't take a risk if I didn't think it was if they were right. I think the risk would have been last week, so I'd let them recover. Hey, with a muscle, you're always on edge, but we think they've done enough. They've done enough in the gym, and they've done enough rehabilitation work this week to make sure that they are okay. The big risk would have playing them last weekend. So we weren't quite the same, but we've got to find a way. It's quite simple as that. Crystal Palace have got the same thing. I was watching them on Monday night, and they've got 6 or 7 out as well. So we've got to try and find a way to win.
We all know how well Jonjo Shelvey's done the last few weeks. We see it in his goal return and his work rate. There's obviously been that question mark over Miguel Almiron due to the fact that he hasn't scored, but the way the team played against Burnley, you can see what he brings.
I understand that he hasn't scored, and I think even after speaking to a lot of people last year, he lit up last year in January. He arrived, he gave the impetus to the team, and really nothing's changed in that respect as far as I'm concerned. He's a smashing player who we all enjoy playing in the team, and as long as he contributes to the team, look, we'd love him to score a few more goals, of course we would, but he works every day as if it's his last. He comes in, he's a wonderful professional, a great lad, good player. So I've got no problems with Almiron because of what he gives the team and the threat he causes the team. Now, if he can add a few goals to it, great. But at the moment, I'm very, very pleased with him.
You saw that without him in the team last week.
Yeah.
So in many ways, actually, him missing him might have been a good thing for him, for people to realise just what.
Yeah. Well, you always miss good players, of course, and especially at the top end of the pitch with him and St Maximin miss him. Then of course we're going to be a bit hampered. We've paid a lot of money for the two of them, so that's what we brought them here for, to give us that little bit of an edge. And you're right in what you said. Last week we certainly missed them, and sometimes you become a better player when you're not playing.
7 matches unbeaten at home. Is St James's Park becoming something?
Well, I hope so. It's always important that your home form stacks up, and we haven't lost since the first game of the season, touch wood. So we've given ourselves a good opportunity. As I said, going into the Christmas period now, it now starts. We play Saturday, Thursday, Saturday, Tuesday, is it? It's ridiculous what's coming up. So if we can get off to a good start and have a good result, a positive result against Palace, then it won't be easy. They're a very good side. Under Roy, it'll be a difficult game, that's for sure.
How difficult is it to juggle that and to mix things up when you've got so many injuries like you have?
Well, that's the disappointing thing. Look, you're going to pick up injuries, there's no question, but the one thing you don't want is all the same area. And there's a scale of you freshening up. Can you freshen up? Can you put 3 or 4 in to freshen your team up? Look, we'll have to adapt and see what we've got. But as I said, a lot of teams will be in the same situation this period of the season. Injuries do catch up, and I think, as I said, Crystal Palace are a bit sort of the same way. They've got 6 or 7 missing as well, which is never healthy.
Just a couple more from me. Matty Longstaff, any update on the contract?
No, I still think it's ongoing, so I hope there's good news in the new year.
Yeah, and change in the Premier League this week as well. Looks like another 2 managerial changes with Arteta and Ancelotti coming in. What do you make of that?
Well, I mean, look, when you're in this job, the one thing you don't want to do is see people losing their jobs, and unfortunately they do. But it's a wonderful opportunity for somebody like Mikel Arteta, that's for sure. He's been Pep's 3 years as a number 2, and Ancelotti's got a proven track record. So there'll be a great addition to the Premier League, I'm sure.
You've done well against that list as well. You seem to be getting further away from the next manager.
There's already been 5 changes, is there? 6 changes. So long may that continue.
Thanks, Steve.
Thanks.
Steve, just one for me on Arteta. We talked a lot about former players going into management this season. In terms of him in particular, what do you make of the challenge that he faces, and is he ready for it?
Well, I mean, he's been assistant for the last 3 years, so working with arguably the best coach in the world. So that obviously opens up many, many doors for him. And the good thing, as I've said many times, of his generation, that generation, I didn't think there was enough coming through. Now, all of a sudden, we're starting to see a sprinkling come through, which is good, because, you know, for a long, long period of time, there was no young, up-and-coming coaches, which, when you look at the Premier League in particular now, there's a few of them, which is good to see. I'm delighted that they're staying in the game. Somebody like Mikel has played the game at the highest level, and he's done his time. What a wonderful opportunity to get Arsenal. Then it'll be difficult for him, and I'm sure around him he'll get a bit of experience to help him. I think that'll be crucial for him. But we wish him the best of luck, and what a wonderful opportunity he's been given.
Do you think there's been a change in attitudes from clubs? I think, 5 years ago, you might not have seen clubs like Chelsea and Arsenal taking risks, in inverted commas, on people with not managerial experience, like Frank.
Possibly, I think, that is, as I said, back in my day, something like 10 years ago or whatever, then, you had to take a team in there to get a Premier League job, usually, unless you were a Jose Mourinho or a Jurgen Klopp or somebody with vast experience who's done it well in Europe. So yes, to be given these opportunities, there's a slight change in the wind, but I wish them all the best of luck. It's not easy, this job, and it's a difficult one at that. So for those who do it and take the challenge on, I respect them enormously and hope they do well.
At the other end of the spectrum, obviously, we have managers like Roy Hodgson. Will you still be going?
I certainly will not be doing it. Roy's 72, 73 now. I can't see myself doing it for another 10, 13 years or whatever it is. But I've got wonderful respect for him, because he's been there, done it, and still has that same enthusiasm and same drive. And if you've still got it at that age, then why not use it? All that wealth of experience. He's been fantastic all over the world, managed at different levels. For anybody looking to how you do the job, then Roy Hodgson's always one that you look at and say, wow, year in, year out, he does fantastically well, and that's why he's still going. Wonderful.
And on Palace, obviously Wilfred Zaha is the danger man that comes out in everyone's mind, but is there a danger of focusing overly on him and ignoring the rest of the team?
Well, there's no doubt he's a top player, and we just seen that. We've seen it on Monday night against Brighton there, where Brighton had large part of the game, and he does that little bit of something which other players can't do. And when you've got that in your locker and what he's got, then they're always going to be a threat. He always is going to be a threat. So we'll have to guard against that. But they're a good side. They're a good side. They've been a good side for the past few years now. So we know what's coming.
On another side, that it's just so tight between you and the table. Yeah,
I mean, we're going neck and neck with them. So, yeah, the big few games. Let's hope we can get over the top of them.
Thank you,
Steve. Dwight Gayle will hope to feature at some point of the game against his old club, and he came inches away from scoring the other day. Could he be an important player for you in the new year?
Well, I've had many conversations about Dwight. I'm sure the one thing he'll want is a chance, and so far, he's only had a brief. He's come on a sub a couple of times. Of course, a lot of that was due to injury. So I've said many times he's an important part. If we're going to go forward, then we need 3 or 4 strikers. And I don't know how many times I've said it about Dwight Gayle, but I've always thought very, very highly of him. I think I've tried to buy him 3 times, but could never quite afford him. So I hope he stays, and I honestly hope that he will get his chance sooner rather than later. And when he gets it, I hope he takes it.
And Jonjo Shelvey was interviewed by the club earlier this week, and he said that you told him, work hard and the performances will come, and they do seem to be coming, don't they? What's the secret?
I just, a quiet ear in his ear to say what I require. And to be fair to him, he's took it on board and gone to work on it and done a bit extra, and I think he's quite enjoying it. He's got the capacity. I think that was the key. He had the capacity to cover big distances. And the rest with Jonjo is always going to look after itself and ability-wise. So at the moment, the last 5-6 weeks, he's been terrific, and we missed him last weekend. Of course, not just for his goals, but also he's the one who can find a pass as well. And that's important.
Can Christmas be season defining, do you think, with so many sort of games coming thick and fast to sort of put out
Whether it's defining, but it would certainly help if we can get a couple of victories over Christmas. Would certainly help us if we can get up around, if we win on the weekend to get to 25 points. That would be a marvellous total before obviously this turn of the year. So all to play for. We're nearly halfway there, and we've given ourselves a decent platform. So it's important the second half of the season that we try and build on it.
Then you can start kind of looking up rather than looking over your shoulder.
I think I said last week, I think there's still 14 or 15 clubs still looking over the shoulder. Always will be. I think that's the nature of the Premier League. So, but it'd be nice to look up the other way, that's for sure, yeah.
Just on that point, Steve, can you remember a season where it is more volatile? Because there is a lot of risk and reward element to this, because the table looks nice for you at the minute. Yes, you look over your shoulder, but you can look up as well.
Yeah. I think what's vitally important is that it's the accumulation of points, of how many you get, how far you get, how quickly you get them, and that obviously is the most important thing. So the table this time last year, arguably, Fulham and Huddersfield were gone. I don't think that's the case this year. By Christmas, I think them two had too much to make up. If you look at teams who've won 4, 5, 6 games, there's a lot, and that's how tight it is. And you could throw a blanket over, for me, 10, 12, 13, 14 teams where there's not much in it at all, and that little bit of defining moments make all the difference.
Nobody can relax then, can they?
No, you can't relax. Never in the Premier League. Not in my experience of it anyway. No.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Cheers. Thank you. Back to dried biscuits they haven't. Okay.